Hello, Facebook. How is everybody? I was just saying to my friends on Instagram that I'm not quite ready, so bear with me. So I decided actually I'll just finish off on my live, because then it's kind of part of what I'm doing. So I washed my hair and I've been using this time actually to play around with new things, with kind of experimenting with my hair, with colour, with, all sorts of different bits and pieces. I've just put some mousse through. I found a really old mousse from, I think it's Paul Mitchell, actually. And hi, Gail. Nice to have you with me on Facebook. And it's kind of a bit, it's made my hair go a bit kind of strange. But anyway, oh, thanks for nice comments. So this is what I do. You may have seen on my hair tutorial, which I did, that I use my straighteners. Oh, hi, Julia. You got your shot box this morning and the green tea juice. Yeah, I had that this morning as well. Sorry, not the green tea, the green juice. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Full of watercress. Watercress is amazing. Honestly, look it up online, the properties and benefits of watercress. Right, so what I do with my hair, and I usually just do the front bits here, is I'll take a section and... Oops, got some sweet peas here. I better move them because they're going to get knocked over. I just do that going down it, and that sort of does that kind of thing. Do you see? Oops, my flex isn't quite long enough. There we go. So I'll just do a couple of pieces around the front because I don't know about you, but I've been doing lots of Zoom calls and all that kind of malarkey, and just kind of taking a couple of minutes to do the front bit just sort of makes me feel a bit more done, really. Amazing, isn't it? Just need to do that. So I'll just do a couple of sections this side. Yeah, the sweet peas. Who saw the tour of my garden? One of my lovely Insta fam requested a tour of my veg garden. And it was such a beautiful evening here last night down on the farm that I thought, well, I'm going to go out anyway because I needed to get some lettuces. And I thought, yeah, come on then. So I grabbed one of the kids and I said, right, you hold the phone, I'll talk. And we just walked around. So it's already had an astonishing number of views. I'm amazed, actually. Anyway, lovely to share. Yeah, really glad you enjoyed it, guys. So yeah, Facebook, guys, it is on Instagram TV, IGTV, which is, if you're not familiar with Instagram, you'll see three little kind of buttons. And one of them looks, I think it's the middle one, looks like a TV with a kind of wiggly line going through it. That's Instagram TV. And that's where they're all saved. So I've got my hair tutorial, all of those things. I've got a link, actually. Obviously on Instagram you get all your links in Linktree because that's the easiest way just to link to stuff that I talk about. And I've got a link to these straighteners as well. Somebody's asking about them. So, GHD, they are a bit more expensive, but I find that they do last. And then I've been doing my colour, just flip those off. Touching in my colour with a bit of Colour Wow. I think this is sold out, I think, in a lot of places. That's not the right one, which is the one that I use. It's a bit pale. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. Anyway, that's what it looks like. And you can just kind of go through, you almost kind of paint on your highlights. It's really good, especially around the front. And kind of paint it through here as well. This colour, actually this isn't bad, this is quite blonde. This one is called Platinum Blonde. There we go. Anyway, that's a bit of hair. The next thing that I was going to show you is eyes, because I think for me, if I was kind of asked what would my one desert island product be, makeup product, it'd probably have to be mascara, don't you think? I think kind of mascara is the thing. So I did my face, just a tiny bit of makeup, which I've also got a makeup tutorial if you want to have a look. And I didn't do my mascara, so I thought I'd leave that to show you what I do, because I use two things. And one is this, and Kerry September, my lovely makeup artist, who I have to say has got the funniest makeup tutorials. If you want a bit of a laugh, they're quite rude, but they're really good. So she introduced me to this, and it's a makeup brand called It Cosmetics, and this is called Tight Line. And it's a little weeny brush. Do you see that? It's kind of like, almost like not a brush at all. It just looks like a stick. But if I hold it up close to the camera, you can, oops, I don't know whether that's in focus or not. I don't think my camera likes this really, but there you go. And it's they say it's 3-in-1, so it acts like a mascara base, and it acts as a line, an eyeliner, and a little infiller, and it's got sort of proteins and, I don't know, peptides and kind of other stuff with it, which I'm not sure whether they really help grow the lashes or not, but we can assume that they might. So get my hair out of the way, because I don't want to make my hair black. It's going to be a bit tricky, sorry, you're going to have to bear with me here, because it's not going to work particularly well. But what you do is you get it right under your lashes. Can you see? And you sort of wiggle it. I'm having to do it here looking at my phone and not the mirror, so I'll probably end up with a huge great black splodge on my face. So by wiggling it along the lash line really close to your eyes, you end up with a little sort of eyeliner line. Sorry, I'm just going to have to look in the mirror while I do this. And what it does is it kind of combs and preps your lashes. And then what you can do is you can use the end just to pull out your lashes, and you can dot it along your lash line. So just like you're using an eyeliner, do you see? So it kind of saves you having to use a separate eyeliner. And in fact, to be really honest with you, especially at the moment, I wouldn't need to use a mascara on top of this. I could just use this. It's kind of almost a bit therapeutic, because you can look in the mirror and you can just be combing your eyelashes. Ah dear, right. Okay, so I'll put a bit more on. I've got to do the other side to even it up. So there we go, in like that. Kind of combing it through. And I twiddle the brush as I do it just to help lift them upwards. I don't like curling my eyelashes. Some people I know use those metal eyelash curlers. I once pulled out all my eyelashes by doing that, which is what I've kind of almost got. I'm slightly phobic of eyelash curlers now, because I'd clenched my eyelashes and then I sneezed. And as you sneeze, you kind of have an instinctive reflex, which I later discovered, to move your hand. And as I pulled all my eyelashes out, and it took about 6 months for them all to grow back. It was terrible. And then I went through a phase of using eyelash serums, which made my eyelashes fall out as well. So I am slightly conscious of trying to keep my eyelashes. I did actually write a piece for Liz Earle Wellbeing. It's on the website, about losing your eyelashes. So if that's happened to you, or you fancy a read of what I do to care for my eyelashes, then go take a look at that. So anyway, there you go. You get the gist. I think this is a really good little investment. And normally I would just leave it, well, at the moment I would just leave it like that, frankly, because I think that's kind of enough. But if you want to have whopping lashes, this is the mascara that I've used for years. I used to use a Lancome one, which is also very good, called Definisil. But then I switched to this one, and this is Clinique, and it's the High Impact mascara. I've got a link, so because the Clinique have got loads of mascaras, so it's quite confusing to find the right one. But this is the good one. It's got a curvy brush. And get the brush right around, and I just go over my lashes. And honestly, you have to kind of stop doing it, because your lashes just get so big, they look false. And what I like about this formula is it's what's called a tubular mascara, and that means that it has little microscopic tubes. Well, they're not microscopic because you can see them, but they're small tubes, and they just rub off with warm water, so you don't need to use a separate eye makeup remover. I went through phases of using waterproof mascaras, and you know, they're good because they don't shift, because I used to find that mascaras would really smudge under my eyes. And waterproof mascaras don't do that, but they're really hard to get off. So then you end up, you know, scrubbing your eyelashes and your eyes, and that's no good. Whereas this just comes off in hot water, so really good. I'm just going to scroll up here on my Instagram because it freezes sometimes the comments. Thank you. Lots of people talking about my my garden and my Colour Wow tutorial. Histamine. Yeah, isn't that fantastic? Yeah, the histamine is a really interesting conversation. Those of you who have hay fever like me, that's why I'm a bit sneezy at the moment. Lily is going on a really strict antihistamine diet, and I'm about to, hopefully later this week or next, record a podcast with an amazing doctor who's a real expert in histamine intolerance and mast cell activation for the immune system and all of that. Jenny Buckland saying, do I get any transference of mascara under my eye during the day? Do you know, Jenny, I don't. With this, I genuinely don't. Something else I woke up with, which is annoying me, and that's probably another reason why I'm not in a particularly great mood today, is I've been trying out different skin creams that I've been sent for different things. And I have got a pimple just here. And I can't remember the last time that I got a spot. Isn't that annoying? Honestly, good job I'm not going anywhere. So what I do, this was one of the concealers that I used actually on my makeup tutorial. It's a Clarins one, and I think it's good. But I will use a cotton bud with a pointy tip like that. So I'm just going to go over it again. I did put some concealer on before I pressed my live button, but I can still see it here annoying me. So I'm just going to dab a little bit more concealer on and just sort of blend that in. You're all being very polite and saying you can't see the spot. That's good. Like that. And then with a concealer, I think it's always worth setting it with a loose face powder. So this is the one that I've used, I mean, for literally decades, probably ever since it first came out, by Laura Mercier. And it's translucent, and I've just got a little concealer brush or powder brush. Just put that over the top. You can just sort of work the powder in. There we go. Yeah. Makes me feel better anyway. So, what am I going to talk about today? Well, I've got lots of questions that have come in, which I thought I would chat through, and also a couple of beauty things. Let me just get onto my little spreadsheet of questions here. Thank you. Thank you very much, Amy. Thank you for being with me. Big thank you to Amy also for working on bank holiday yesterday. Really nice to have everybody with me. I was in the kitchen yesterday, so I was cooking up various things. Oh my goodness. If you have yet to make that chard torte, it was so delicious. It really, really was. Yeah, so the hair products, if you need the link, basically go to Liz Earle Wellbeing website, Victoria, and you'll see the video there. There's a whole section called Liz Loves on Liz Earle Wellbeing, and that's where I put links to all the things that I like, so you'll find it there. Cheryl Griffith saying, hi Liz, my eyes water sometimes, wonder if it's the menopause, has anything to do with it. Interesting. You know, actually usually it's the other way around. Usually we get dry eyes during the menopause. So we get dry everything, frankly, in the menopause. We get dry skin, we get dry bits, we get dry ears, which is why we get tinnitus and hearing loss. We get dry pelvic floor region, which is why we're more prone to cystitis and UTIs. And yeah, we get dry eyes, and dry eyes is very easily rectified with a bit of estrogen, or you can use kind of lubricating eye drops. So your eyes are watering a bit more. That's interesting. I would have thought that's more a kind of histamine response. Oh, thanks, Amy. You're putting links to stuff on Facebook. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, a lot of questions talking about hair, and I wanted to share this with you. I got an email from a friend of mine called Belinda. And Belinda, I meant to reply and I didn't, so I don't know if you're watching, but thank you. I've been a bit mad, been a bit crazy busy. But you have said here, I wonder if you are talking about hair, because she's a great friend of mine, and she's had issues with her joints and rheumatoid arthritis for many years, and it makes it quite difficult for her to wash her hair. And she says here, I found it very difficult and painful to wash my hair, and this was when she was first diagnosed. And I was also extremely tired all the time, so our social life dwindled. I'd been used to washing my hair every 3 days, but I started to leave it. Has anybody else had an experience of leaving their hair and not washing it during lockdown? Because this is quite fascinating. She said it was very hard at first, but because it was shoulder length, I was able to put clips in it or tie it back in a bun or a ponytail. And during that year, the gap between my hair washes slowly lengthened until it was good for a week. I have very fine hair, but lots of it. I'm sitting here saying to you that I last washed my hair a fortnight ago, and it's quite long, so I can't get to a hairdresser like everyone else. My hair, by the way, looks fabulous. Lots of body, and it looks like I've just had a professional blow dry. And I remember Jerry Hall saying that she wouldn't wash her hair for a week ahead of a big photographic modelling assignment, and her hair always looked amazing. My point in telling you the above is that for those who are slaves to washing their hair every day, maybe now is the perfect time to train their hair out of that routine. And is it true what they say, that too much washing is bad for it? My other tip is that I only put conditioner on the ends and use either a normal or volume shampoo. Just thought you might be running out of subjects sometime soon. Lots of love, Belinda. Thank you very much. Well, I'm not running out of subjects. The subjects are just sort of thick and fast, which is great. But thank you for sharing that. And somebody else was telling me, who was it? Might have been somebody on Instagram, or maybe it was somebody that I was talking to on one of my Zoom chats with girlfriends, that they'd actually stopped washing their hair. And it was really just absolutely fine. It goes through a really bad patch where it's really awful. Might have been Kerry September. I know she did a hair tutorial. But then after a while, it just kind of tends to rebalance. And I know there is this whole movement of people who their hair is still clean and they might just run it under running water in the shower, just to dislodge any, grotty bits. But in terms of actually soaping it up, lathering it up. I mean, for me, I went back to using only one shampoo. So I don't use, I think this whole 2 shampoo thing is a bit of a myth. And I think it's maybe just meant to encourage us to buy more bottles of shampoo because you use them twice as fast. But I actually find that my colour lasts much longer and my hair actually seems completely fine. So I just use lots and lots of water and a bit less shampoo. So that's quite interesting. And totally, I just use a conditioner on my hair ends. I don't use it all over because I find it can make my hair look a bit flat. So yeah, interesting. Lots of chat about moisturisers. So who makes Tightline? Okay, so I use this. There is a link in my Instagram link tree. It's made by It Cosmetics, Tightline. Bit hard to find, but I've popped a link on my link tree. Lots of chat. Hey, Mikey Carr-Hartley, Mikey and Tanya. Hi, big shout out. Hi from your wonderful friends across the globe. Yes, you are. You're on the equator. What's the weather like? Let me know. I know you've had lots and lots and lots of rain. I've been seeing pictures of the flooding in Kenya. It's not kind of something that you might think. You might think it's, sun shines all the time, but no, they get a lot of rain, especially at the moment. So let me get back to my little Google document here. What do I think eyebrow serums work? I haven't tried eyebrow serums. I did do a tutorial on eyebrows and what I do for mine, and honestly the best thing that I discovered was eyebrow dye, because that just, as we get older, our eyebrows get greyer, just like the hair everywhere. And if they're a bit sparse, it may be they look a bit sparse because they've just gone a bit grey. And actually, most of us can wear dark eyebrows, even if we're quite blonde. Actually, you can use a kind of, maybe not completely dark brown, but like a mid-brown or a light brown eyebrow dye. And if you can't get eyebrow dye, you can use moustache dye. I think it's cheaper. How does that work? Is that like some kind of sexist thing? Like men's razors are much cheaper than women's razors. Anyway, it's all meant for dyeing hair on your face. So you use, in my opinion, use either eyebrow dye or moustache dye. And yeah, just kind of pat it along here, and maybe you'll be amazed at how naturally thick and luxuriant your own eyebrows are before having to spend money on expensive serums. Do I have any natural remedies for stings and bites? Yeah, I get really bitten. I get bitten to death. And I have written about it actually on Liz Earle Wellbeing. I think, are you talking about warding off the insects? Because again, we've done features on that in the past on how to make deterrents for insects and kind of smells like citronella, lemon balm, lemon verbena, having pots of basil and things, is all supposed to be really good for warding off the insects. I find that a little bit of numbing cream on a mosquito bite stops the itch. So I've used things like Bonjela in the past, that you can use for babies when they're teething to numb their gums, or you can buy them. I think it contains a tiny bit of lidocaine, which is an anaesthetic, skin anaesthetic, and you can buy that for teething issues, or even for grown-ups. You can buy it for things like denture rubbing and stuff like that. So you can use it inside the mouth, so it's a safe thing to do. And if the first sign of an insect bite, if you're somebody who reacts like I do, and you're going to start itching, just put a little bit of that numbing gel on, and that stops. I find it stops the itch because I guess it just anaesthetizes the skin. And then if you're not scratching it, you're not setting up that whole cycle, that itch, scratch, itch cycle that people, with eczema and other itchy skin problems know too well. The other thing that I tried last summer, which I was told about by a friend, and that is using the enzyme papain. Now, the enzyme papain is something that you find in papaya, natural papaya. Some people will use a little piece of natural papaya skin on an insect bite, if you're in the tropics, for example, because naturally that's where papayas are growing. But you can get papain capsules, and you can also use, I think, bromelain, which is the other natural enzyme that comes from pineapples. And these are digestive enzymes. And this friend of mine said that if you mix a little bit of those powders from the capsules with maybe a little bit of something like lanolin, let me get here we go. So this is my purified lanolin that I often talk about, which is it's kind of like a natural Vaseline-y type thing. Use it on my lips. Put that on there. If you mix it with a little bit of Vaseline or a little bit of lanolin like this and then dot it onto the bite, it stops it. I think because the digestive process of the powder is to breaking down the area that's inflamed and stinging. Anyway, I tried it. I tried it last summer when I was in Italy with my family, and I found it did actually work. So there you go. I just throw that out there. If you want to try it, if you're being bitten and you happen to have these capsules or you want to order them online and try them, let me know. I'd be fascinated, especially as we kind of move into mosquito season. A couple of things here. Is the Aspiga code still going? Yes. So this is Aspiga. Actually, this T-shirt is Aspiga. I just love their things. I was wearing one of their dresses. Was I wearing a dress yesterday? Can't remember. Yes, I think I was. That pretty sort of greeny, floaty one. So yes, that code is still working. That's Liz Loves, just all in capitals, and that gets you 10% off. And that's my lovely friend Lucy, who very kindly has sent me various things as a present to wear and is giving us a code in return. So thank you very much to Lucy. A couple of other things I wanted to share with you on the yearbook front. I'm sorry that all the bundles of magazines have sold out. Oh, what's this from Helen? She says, it was my birthday on Sunday and I received your 2 yearbooks signed by you and wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you. Oh, that is such a pleasure, Helen. That is really lovely to hear. Thank you. I'm glad that you got them. So these are the yearbooks. So these are the ones that I sign. So I'm very happy to sign these. These are yearbooks 1 and 2, and I've got them here in my office. Or in the farm office, rather. I also have a few of these, which I discovered in London. These are the limited edition ones. So these are the ones that have got this beautiful linen cover and the embossing, the foil embossing, which you can see if that catches the light again. Really pretty. So there are only 200 of these, and I'm not sure how many we've got left, probably about 40 or so, so not that many. And they come with a little book plate inside stuck in, which I write a personal message on. So I write that, so whatever you want to say, within reason, I will write it on, put it on there. And so these are on the website. You only get them from Liz Earle Wellbeing. You can't find them anywhere else. So the limited ones are really limited. We only have Yearbook 2, I'm afraid, limited, because Yearbook 1 limited edition sold out. But I do have, if you want Yearbook 2, I've got plenty of the regular ones, which I will sign, and also Yearbook 1. And Yearbook 1, actually, I was flicking through it this morning. I made something here this morning, which I'm going to eat as soon as I've finished, and I wanted to share it with you and also tell you a little funny story behind the scenes about it. So this comes from the summer section, and it's the berry probiotic breakfast bowl, which is really simple to make. And I'm going to have it as my sort of brunch. I tend to eat straight after the live and do a sort of like brunchy lunch type thing. So this is it. I've made it, and it's tempting me by looking at me across my dressing table. And it's a bit like an overnight oats. In fact, you could make it the night before if you want to, and then just have it ready to go in the morning, particularly if you're somebody who's going out to work and you need to make something quickly for the morning. So this is oats, and I've made it with plain natural yogurt and a splash of kefir, obviously, because whenever I use yogurt or cream or ice cream or anything, obviously that's an opportunity to chuck in a bit of kefir. So I've used that, and then I've got half a grated apple in there, which is just great because it's great, haha, no pun intended. So it's really good because it's got vitamin C, which is really helpful at the moment, especially, and also lots of prebiotic fibre because you grate it with the skin, so it's very easy to eat. And then I've also added some chopped almonds, which I like. They're high in protein and they have got beneficial fats. And also I've sprinkled on here some sunflower seeds and just a few raspberries. And this is the yogurt that I've used. So I've been making my yogurt now in a yogurt maker because I find that making them in these little small jars in the yogurt maker is actually a bit more effective. It makes the yogurt a little bit thicker. So this was my yogurt that I made that went into there. And then I had just a few raspberries, which I'd picked up locally. And it just reminded me when I was looking at this picture in the book of quite a funny day we had, because we shot quite a lot of pictures for this book in a beautiful garden, kitchen garden, not far away from here. And when we went there, the raspberries weren't quite ready. So they weren't quite looking good enough for flowering. So this is me walking through the raspberry field, or whatever it is, kind of avenue. And we had to go and buy a load of raspberries to put in the little basket here, this my little egg basket that I got in the kitchen. So these are actually shop-bought raspberries here. And then what we did was, for the close-up shots that we used at the end of the frame, we actually stuck shop-bought raspberries on the ends of the raspberry canes. Because they are there, you can see. I mean, if you've got the book, have a look. It's on page 79, and you can see there are little raspberries. You know, we weren't totally cheating. There are raspberries there, but they just weren't looking particularly sort of red and juicy. So we had quite a funny afternoon going round, actually reinserting the raspberries, probably back where they came from, or would have come from anyway. So quite funny. And in fact, this page also gives you the recipe for homemade yogurt if you want to make it. But homemade yogurt is really easy, and I've got a tutorial online. You can go to Liz Earle Wellbeing. You can also find really super easy how to. Oh, this was a nice message from Donna Walsh I've just seen on Facebook. I've just received my jar of almond and espresso butter from London Bruncher. Tastes amazing. Oh, I'm so pleased. You know, I love being able to give shout outs to brands, especially smaller brands that don't have the opportunity to advertise. And, you know, when I find nice things, then just giving them a mention can actually give them a real boost. So that is really great. So that's, London Bruncher, and they make really good nut butters. They've got no palm oil, and they make interesting flavours, and that's a really nice one. I love almond butter. I mean, I use it anyway, and I make my own, and I use it, you know, I spread it on little thin slices of apple. You can make like an almond butter sandwich. So you cut through the apple that way, and then you just have a little sandwich with a bit of almond butter in the middle. It's a really good, healthy snack. And it has no sugars, but it's naturally quite sweet. So it kind of, if you have got a bit of a sweet tooth and you're trying to wean yourself off sugary things, then it's a really good thing. And actually that butter I really like because it's got espresso coffee in it. So it gives you a bit of a boost. It's a bit of a caffeine lift. And I do like my cups of coffee. I also love my cups of tea. How brilliant was the Rare Tea Lady? Lots of comments still coming in about Henrietta, and I know that she's answered some of the messages that have come in on my Instagram as well. So thank you, Henrietta. I don't know if you're with me today, if you're watching in Copenhagen. I hope that life and times are good with you. And I just love the way that she spoke so openly and frankly, sharing her experience of having had her ovaries removed and being plunged into surgical menopause and all the problems that involved. And yesterday, actually, I didn't take yesterday afternoon off, tempting as it was to go and sit in the sun. I actually recorded a podcast with Dr. Louise Newson for her podcast channel. So usually she's coming on as a guest for me with my podcasts. This time she kind of turned the tables and interviewed me, and we had a good old chat. And in fact, when the microphone stopped recording, we just carried on chatting, because she was telling me so much stuff. You know, whenever I talk to Louise, I just come away feeling so inspired by the work that she's doing for women, you know, for young women, for older women, perimenopause, menopause. And of course, we know that early onset menopause for younger women affects, I think, 1 in 100 younger women, you know, in their 30s. So this is not a really, really rare thing. So anyway, so we were chatting. And one of the things that made me mad, actually, I don't know whether I'm going to save that, because it's just gone 1 o'clock, and I know I'm just going to go off on one. But there's lots to share with you, and I will tell you more about that, and I will also promote her podcast when it goes live. Another recording, actually, that you might like to listen to very, very quickly is I caught up with my great friend Emma Forbes. Do you remember Emma from British TV days, Live and Kicking and all of that? Well, Emma is somebody that I've known, gosh, for such a long time. She and I used to work together at Molton Brown back in the day when Molton Brown wasn't a toiletries brand. It was this little small hairdressing salon in South Molton Street. And it was a really lovely time. A lot of very talented people came out of that early salon at Molton Brown. A lot of session hairstylists, hairdressers, makeup artists, all sorts of fascinating people. It's where I met my ex-business partner for the beauty company, Kim. She and I met at Molton Brown. And Emma was there for a while too. So that's where we met. And she and I stayed in touch and stayed good friends. And I've recorded a podcast for her. And I did a radio interview for her. She's a host on a radio channel called Radio Wellbeing, or Wellbeing Radio, which is great. I'll do a little link actually to it. So she and I chatted, and she's over in America, but we were able to chat online and record it. So I'm looking forward to listening to that, because she and I share quite a lot of our own journey, talking about wellbeing, talking about menopause, talking about just all sorts of stuff, really nice girly chats. And one of the things she said to me, because I know that she watches my Instagram, and so hi, Emma, if you're watching today, she said, you know, thanks for shouting out for all these lovely little brands, because she went onto a Spiga, where this T-shirt comes from, and she bought some of their lovely sundresses. And I think they are now, you know, winging their way over to her home in the Hamptons in New York. So, you know, that's great, isn't it? It doesn't matter where in the world we are. We can all, you know, benefit by sharing stories, sharing ideas, sharing new discoveries, things that we've come across. And it's a lovely platform, I think. And hopefully it's a safe space here to be able to talk about things and to share the highs and the lows. Hopefully there are more highs than lows, but, you know, I think we have to acknowledge that sometimes things are a bit tough, but we're there for each other. And oh my goodness, are we there for each other? Gosh, nearly forgot to tell you big news, and that is this actually came out of a comment that was left, I think, on my Instagram. So forgive me, I can't remember who asked if I would do this, but yes, we put it into practice straight away. So if you want to send somebody as a present the current issue of the Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine. So I know I've talked a lot about back issues, which have just been flying off the shelf, but we had this great comment and a question really from a reader saying, yeah, you know, I subscribe to your magazine and I love it and I'd love to share it. I'd love to be able to send my mum or my friend a copy of the current edition with a little note to say, thinking of you or wishing you well or whatever it is. Do you think you could consider doing a single issue, this current one, with a gift message? And I just thought, you know, that is such a great idea. Why didn't I think of that before? So I was messaging my team over the weekend saying, can we do this? Can we pop it on the website? And they said, yes, absolutely. It's just gone live. Now, there are a few things to bear in mind, okay, because it's slightly complicated. And I did say that I would explain this properly. So just listen, okay, really carefully if you want to do this. It's only for the current issue, the single issue, so it's the current one. If you want to send this out to somebody that you know and love right now with a message, we can do that for you. And it'll be handwritten, I think up to about 15 words, so, whatever you want to say, and we'll pop it in the post. But you must do it through the Liz Earle Wellbeing website, because it's not something that Warners, who handle our magazine subscriptions, this is not something that they're doing. So if you ask them to do it, they'll get really confused and they'll say, we don't know what you're talking about, we can't do that. So you have to go to Liz Earle Wellbeing, and when you get to Liz Earle Wellbeing, ignore the little box that says buy the magazine at the top of the page. That's for subscribing. If you click on that, you go through to Warners, and you can subscribe for the whole year, which is great if you want to do that. And there's still 30% off, by the way. So it's a good time to grab that, because that's not going to last forever. But what you want to do is go to where it says shop, and then there's a drop-down menu, and you'll see magazines as one of the options. You click on that and just look really carefully, read the small print, because you want to go to the one where it's this issue and it says with gift message, okay? I think we've got about 100 or so. So we've not got huge numbers, because most of the copies obviously went to Warners for subscribers. But I just thought that's such a lovely idea, because it's not very expensive and it's really thoughtful. And yes, of course, we can send flowers and chocolates and all sorts of other things. But, flowers are lovely, but of course they will die. And, chocolates are great, but, ultimately somebody might not want to have lots of chocolate during lockdown. But this issue was written with lockdown in mind. So it is very much about all the things that you can do without travelling. It's the wellness things that you can do, building resilience, really great recipes using ingredients that you might actually be able to have at the moment, either already in your cupboard or readily available in the shops. So anyway, I'm glad I remembered that, because it's just something that we have right now. So, but it may not be there tomorrow, but let's see. So you heard about it. I'm not publicising it anywhere. It's just here. So it's just for us, for you guys on Facebook and for everybody on Instagram. So I hope that is good. So keep your ideas and suggestions coming. I love it. This kind of two-way things, is so great. And if you can feed me ideas and things like that, if you know of any little brands that you think that might be good to share, please just pop them in the link. I don't do direct message on Instagram because I get overloaded, but I do always look at my comments, and I do always try and reply to just as many as I can, if not all. So do please let me know. That's the best way to contact me. Thank you. Oh gosh. Quick question, how is Lily doing? Lily's on a journey. If you haven't listened to the podcast I recorded with Lily about her chronic pain and migraine, please take a listen. And the journey's ongoing, and we're hopeful, we're cautiously optimistic about this histamine. So she's been doing various blood tests now to try and see. It's all to do with genetic markers and new bits of medicine, which is really fascinating. So I'll keep you up to date on that. She's had her blood test, so let's see what happens. Fingers crossed for Lil. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Sending you lots of love in the meantime. Thank you for being with me. Enjoy the tour of my vegetable garden. If you haven't seen it already, it's still up on Instagram. I'll say bye for now. Leave me comments, questions, and I'll get back to you this time. Same time, same place tomorrow. Actually, I'll probably be in my studios tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. I've got to get back to do something there, so let's see. Anyway, lots of love. Bye for now.